Michael Robinson, a Super Bowl champ, 4 years with the Niners, Seahawks, now an NFL Network analyst, looking very regal today on the East Coast. Look at that. So I want to ask you, you played, Seattle and San Francisco. Though you talk about intense teams you were on. Philadelphia, similarly. That's an intense city. The media's tough. The fans are tough. Players can't quit, but the tackling, have you ever been on a team and you came out in the tunnel and, Michael, you just felt like this isn't it? Because that's what it looked like. And when I'm listening to broadcasters say, yeah, I don't like the body language in the first series, you're like, we got problems. Have you ever faced that?
I mean, first of all, what's going on, Colin? Hadn't talked to you in a while, man. But yes, I have been on teams where you come out the tunnel and you're like, this is going to be a very uphill battle today. But we still didn't give effort like that when you talk about in terms of tackling, when you talk about in terms of not finishing blocks and things like that. That Philadelphia Eagles team, they quit on Nick Sirianni. And it looked like this entire team, especially the last half of the season, there was a lack of leadership. And you can look squarely at Nick Sirianni due to the fact that, first and foremost, you outlined it before you came to me, the fact that he lost both coordinators and really didn't have a real plan to replace those guys. And all season, the same issues just kept showing up. That's number one. Number two, I can look at Jalen Hurts as well. He got paid this past offseason, and to me, it just didn't seem like he played with the same urgency and the same, attention to detail that we saw him play with last season. The time where it happened to us, I was with the Seattle Seahawks. It was right after Beastquake. We had just beat the New Orleans Saints, and we had to play the Chicago Bears in the divisional round. And I remember just stepping out to that game like, bro, for the last 2 weeks, we've been basically in the playoffs, the last week of the regular season, and then going into wild card weekend. I'm not sure we got enough juice to finish this game, but we still went out there and tackled. We still went out there and put a great product or a decent product on the football field for our coaching staff. So, yeah, to second what you said, that Philadelphia team, they quit on Nick Sirianni last night.
So we watched two quarterbacks, and I've always said this. I root for quarterback play from young people because the league's more fun to watch when the quarterback plays good. So Jordan Love was bad in October. Matt LaFleur was critical of him post-game at the podium, and Matt's like a player's coach. Jordan Love now is just it. And C.J. Stroud, who, his comp was Jared Goff maybe, whatever. I watched those two. You broke into this league out of Penn State. Those guys are, there's a phone, so there we go. Are you surprised how good Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud are first year starting? Because right now, C.J. Stroud looks like a top 5 quarterback, and I don't think that's being over the top. And Jordan Love looks significantly better than Dak, athletically, accuracy, confidence. Are you surprised by young guys being that good in the playoffs now?
Well, no, not by these two young guys. First and foremost, Jordan Love, if you really watch that game against the Dallas Cowboys, the Green Bay Packers owned the line of scrimmage. Matt LaFleur had a masterful plan at attacking the Dallas Cowboy defense. And quite frankly, the Dallas Cowboy defense, I've been talking about it on NFL Total Access for the last couple of months. The Dallas Cowboy defense, from a personnel standpoint at the linebacker level, they're just not built to defend the run. So if you're not built to defend the run, every single time that the Green Bay Packers turned around, or Jordan Love turned around to stick that football out to Aaron Jones, the entire defense had to pause. The entire defense had to do something. And what that did was it opened up some one-on-one opportunities on the outside for Jordan Love to go out there and do his thing. And then when you look at the Houston Texans, I'm the biggest surprised by a C.J. Stroud, just because I wasn't so sure that he was going to look this dominant in the National Football League. And it was toward the back half of the season, everybody was talking about the tight window throws against man coverage and his lack of success against man coverage. And he just went out there and he completely diced up the number one defense in the National Football League. I love his pocket movement. I love his command of the offense. He always seems to be on attack mode. You blitz C.J. Stroud, he's trying to beat you with a big play down the football field. So the fact that Jordan Love had a run game and the fact that C.J. Stroud is just being nurtured by a coaching staff and a team, no, I'm not surprised by the success of these young quarterbacks.
This is an interesting time. We were talking about this yesterday. I said I think Seattle's a good job because they need a quarterback, but I like the roster and their cap situation. Washington has the most cap space. There are jobs I like. Justin Herbert, Chargers. That's a good job. Left tackle, Keenan Allen, him. Dallas is fascinating. Jerry loves Dak. Dak's going to be a $55 million cap hit. I like Dak. I don't love him. I like him. He struggled against good teams. And I said, the owner meddles. you got to deal with that Dak salary. You're going to have to pay CD, Micah, and Dak $100 large in a year and a half. And I said, I don't know if Dallas is a great job. I like Washington. I like Seattle. You tell me, if you were a GM, not a broadcaster, you're a coach, is Dallas, all things considered, pressure, Jerry, Dak's salary, is it a great opening to you?
No, it's not a great opening, just to be frank with you and answer your question. But I do believe it's a good opening if Jerry Jones can look at this team and realize that the only constant over the last 30 years of them not winning a Super Bowl, not making it to conference championships, the only constant has been Jerry Jones. Right. And if he can find some way to step back just a little bit, nobody's saying you still can't be the guy and this, that, and the third, but just step back. Maybe not a radio show every single week. Maybe not a press conference right outside the locker room after a team wins or loses. And maybe you cut back on some of that. And yeah, I do think this job is very attractive. I don't know if you remember, it was a show called All or Nothing that used to be on Amazon back in the day when they followed the Cowboys. Yeah. When Jason Garrett was the head coach. Yeah. Remember, before every staff meeting, who had to speak to everybody before the head coach? Jerry Jones. And to me, I think you just hurt your head coach if you do everything that has to go through the owner first.
So San Francisco, we've been arguing all year. I like Brock Purdy, but I like the coach and the roster. And I said, Jordan Love's going to drop 21 points. That's what Green Bay does. They can run it. The coach, they're going to score 21. If I told you it's 27 all San Francisco, Green Bay, I trust Jordan Love more than Brock Purdy. Now, Jason's got him. He thinks he's the next something. And I'm like, we have to contextualize it. That roster's Hall of Fame guys. What do you make? I mean, you were a Penn State guy. You're an All-American level player, Big Ten co-offensive player. Here comes last guy in the draft. And now he's starting a quarterback. Don't you think some of those Niners are thinking, it's more about us than him? Like, you were a Niner. What do you make of Purdy?
He does process well. And I'm just, again, this is what everybody's saying. This is what I see on tape. But again, as a former player, as an analyst, I like the Jordan Love side of things, just simply because when you just talk about straight quarterback play, I like the fact that he learned from Aaron Rodgers, all of those things. He sat all of those things. And Brock Purdy, yes, he has a Hall of Fame left tackle. I mean, Trent Williams has been the best left tackle in football for probably a decade now. Yeah. The best left tackle in football. He has the best running back, right? Deebo Samuel is one of the premier wide receivers. Oh, yeah, and I haven't even began to talk about the defense, the linebackers, the pass rushers. I mean, this team is put together, and this is where it really gets interesting. To me, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, they moved up in the draft to get Trey Lance, not just Trey Lance, but a guy with a certain tool set for a reason. See, I believe he's had a guy like Brock Purdy before. He had a Matt Ryan. He had a Jimmy Garoppolo playing well. He's been to the Super Bowl. But when he gets there, he needs a guy that's going to elevate above the X's and O's. To me, that's why they went so hard after a guy like Trey Lance. And unfortunately, I know it's my former team, but I do believe at some point the last pick in the draft, Brock Purdy will show up. That value will show up. Hopefully it's not in this year's play.
Yeah, I mean, even the Niners passed on him 6-7 times, so that's the reality of it. All right, Michael Robinson in a chair fit for a king. I don't know where that is, but that you just take that wherever you go. It's very regal. I like the look of it, Michael. NFL Network, he's on NFL Total Access, weeknight, 6 Eastern, NFL Network. Thanks for giving us time, man. Great seeing you as always. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show.
Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.